Welcome everybody, I'm Mrs. Olette. If you don't know who I am, thank you for coming to the presentation. Today I have Jason here, who is a Walmart pharmacist and everything. He's going to tell you a lot about different opportunities in a career in Walmart, mostly in the health field because that's why you guys are here, but also other opportunities that might arise and things like that. So if you have questions, please be interactive, ask him questions. He's got some giveaways and stuff, so enjoy.
Thank you. All right, well, thanks for letting me come in and talk with you. So as she said, I am a pharmacist and I've worked for Walmart now for 22 years. So speaking of Walmart, see if this works too. In my experience growing up in Northern Maine and living down here in New Hampshire and working for the company, Walmart means different things for different people. So what do you think of when you think of Walmart?
Groceries.
Oh, groceries, thank God. Big box stores, right? We're not small, little low prices. Hopefully you've heard that, right? That we sell everything at everyday low prices. There's your groceries. Rollbacks, does anybody remember the rollback guy on TV? No? Yes? I'm old, so I remember that. You think big money, maybe? Like, not everything's positive with Walmart, let's be honest, right? We put small businesses out of business sometimes, right? That's a reputation that we have as an organization. And then our most recent piece is Save Money, Live Better has become kind of our guiding principle, and it helps really determine what we do and how we do it. Who knows who founded Walmart? Oh, Shelby, you can't cheat. I'll give you giveaways just cause. Anybody else know?
I know where they are too.
Yeah. Okay, you can share it. Who?
Sam Walton.
Sam Walton. You want an eyeball?
Yeah, I do.
That's the favorite one.
Thanks.
You're welcome. How many countries do you think Walmart is in?
12.
12? Good guess. Any other ones? 15? 50? Oh boy. We have superpower. So we're in 19 countries. And how many so being in 19 countries around the world, how many associates do you think we have? Well, we call them associates. You might know them as employees. We call them associates.
A whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch. That is a very specific number. You want a water bottle?
Yeah,
you
that
can
was
take
a good answer.
How many? Anybody got a guess? Other than a whole bunch?
5 million. Yeah, I was going to say like 1 million, 3 million.
Yeah, so 2.1 million globally. 1.6 just here in the United States. Million, not 1.6 people. 1.6 million. But have you ever thought when you think of Walmart about pharmacy? Well, you should, right? Vision centers. How about being an optometrist in one of our stores? A dentist at a Walmart store? Yeah, huh?
Really?
How about a nurse or a medical assistant, a physician, a phlebotomist? A little bit different than groceries and rollbacks, right? How about volunteerism and working in a community, working at soup kitchens or raising money for local organizations? Giving about a ton of money to local organizations as well. So who would take a guess at in what year we opened our first Walmart pharmacy? I'll give you a hint. It was the same year I'm born. So it was destiny that I worked for the company as a pharmacist. But if you guess that I'm too old, you won't get a prize. Oh, thank you very much. That's very close, too. 82 is close. We're a little bit older than that.
78.
Yes! You want sunglasses or an eyeball?
Oh, I want an eyeball.
Yeah. Did you know?
Yeah, I told her.
Oh,
Okay.
cheater. You got really good. That was good. You made me feel younger. You probably should get a couple things. What do you think in terms of Walmart being a global business, what do you think our overall percentage of healthcare is to our overall business?
10%. 26.
10, I wish. I would be CEO at that point probably. So 10 is really close. We're at 12% on average. That's crazy, huh? To think about when you're in there and you're buying your printer cartridges and photos and apples and cereal, that overall our pharmacy, vision center, and healthcare accounts for 12% of our total business. In 2006, we did something as an organization that was huge in healthcare. And it was specific around making things more affordable. Does anybody know what we did in 2006 that kind of changed the whole pharmacy landscape? Were you guys born in 2006? Okay.
I got a couple of those.
The middle schoolers were not when I said I graduated in 2001. No? No idea?
What?
Do you know? Oh, you go to the expert.
I don't really.
You don't know?
Oh, I know there's that drug costs on stuff.
Yeah, so $4 drug list,
Yeah.
right? So we had a lot of drugs that we started pricing for $4 for a 30-day supply or $10 for a 90-day supply, because the healthcare cost burden in the United States was just huge, and folks couldn't afford their things. So Walmart Health is where you'll find most of our dental, nurse, physician, and all those types of opportunities. Did anybody know when we opened our first Walmart Health? Anybody remember seeing the news on that? Who knows? Does anybody know what a Walmart Health is? So picture like this annex in the middle of your Walmart store. You know where the Rochester one is? Everybody knows that one? So you got your big entrances on the front, and there's that big space in the middle. Right in the middle there, we build a clinic. And it depends on what your community needs. If you need Coumadin clinics or dialysis centers or mental health or just regular primary care, we do that. So we opened the first one up in Georgia in 2019. By the end of this year, we'll have opened up, by the end of next year, sorry, we'll open up 75 of those. Now most of them are down south. So here's some maybe surprising things that you don't know about Walmart. 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart store. It's one of our famous statistics. If you grew up where I did in northern Maine, I was not within anything of a Walmart store. I was within 45 minutes was my closest one. So it doesn't always apply to the rural centers. By the end, like I said, the end of next year, we'll have over 75 Walmart Health locations. They're down pretty much down in Georgia, Arkansas, Florida. We've opened up quite a few in Florida recently. Last year alone, we provided over $1.7 billion with the big B dollars and in-kind donations to local organizations. Now those aren't just the big ones. Like we do the big ones, right? Like American Diabetes and American Cancer, Susan G. Komen and all of those, but we also find some really good local organizations. In fact, we just ended our campaign recently called the Health and Wellness Days of Giving, where we found local community organizations that wouldn't otherwise get money and helped them get through a process where they could get a local grant from their store. Out of all of our locations throughout the United States, we have over 4,500 pharmacies and 2,600 vision centers. So huge opportunities there. And then we have a really cool college education program where we pay 100% of college tuition and books. Right now, out of the 1.6 United States associates and the other associates globally, we're doing over 1.3 million associates are enrolled in those programs now. Most of those are geared towards programs like IT, cybersecurity, business administration, things that are obviously going to help our organization grow and become stronger over the years. But great opportunity, helps with folks who otherwise might not go to college or be able to afford to go to college. What's really cool about Walmart, though, is that we started really humbly. Like Mr. Sam was driving merchandise in his truck from store to store. He built his own first, fixtures in the store to set it up, and really had a good core about what he wanted to achieve. He wanted Americans to afford things that they needed and not have to pay exorbitant prices for them. But throughout all those humble beginnings and our humility now, like a lot of these facts about the $1.7 billion in charitable giving kind of goes untold. We don't brag about those things a whole lot. Like I said, so here's my Walmart journey. I started out in pharmacy school, and I wanted to own my own independent pharmacy. I had this vision of like this small town pharmacy, the old lady up front who knew everybody's town's business, and you'd come in there and be able to talk to us. When I got out of pharmacy school in 2001, the landscape had changed so much, the market had changed so much with insurances that I couldn't afford to do that. So I was working for CVS at the time in Boston, and I wanted to come back to Maine. And they didn't have a place for me in Maine, so I didn't even know who Walmart was in terms of a healthcare provider. the district manager there in Maine called me and said that he heard good things about me up home, because pharmacy is a small world and Maine is certainly small, and invited me to come talk to him about the opportunities as a pharmacist at Walmart. And I was as arrogant as the day is long when I was a graduating pharmacy student. Like, we sat down and he's telling me all this great stuff about Walmart. And I said, I just want to be clear, I'm not going to work for Walmart. He's like, you're not? I said, no, I'm going to work for my patients, and Walmart's going to pay me. And he's like, oh, well, what would you say if that's exactly what we're looking for? I said, then we got a deal. So I started up in Maine as an intern until I got my license as a pharmacist, and I was a pharmacist. I was there for a year, and then I moved down to Massachusetts and took over my first pharmacy as a manager. I was there a couple years down in Plymouth, Mass. Did a couple of things outside of our market to help support other stores, and then became a pharmacy district manager. So back in those days, our pharmacy and our vision center businesses were separate. We weren't under the same umbrella, so I just helped support pharmacy operations down in southeastern Mass and Rhode Island. I did that for about as long as I could tolerate. The average lifespan at that point in time in my role was 18 months. Like, it was a high turnover position. It was a hard job. It was not easy. Staffing wasn't optimal from a pharmacist perspective. There was a lot of shortages. So I did that, and then I decided I wanted to move up here to New Hampshire. And I stepped down voluntarily. They didn't demote me, I promise. I asked to do it and became a pharmacy manager again in Somersworth. And I thought for sure that when I got there, I was going to retire from there. Going to be a community pharmacist. You're going to see me when I'm old and gray with my little glasses, sitting behind the bench and just helping folks. And then I realized that, boy, there was a lot of things that we could do differently here in New Hampshire and beyond that I really wanted to be a part of. So then I became a market director for health and wellness. So now I support pharmacies and vision centers in 10 different stores in southern Maine, Seacoast, New Hampshire, and then over near Concord and Hooksett. So that's where I'm at now. But one of the really cool things is that it's not just about what I do when I'm at work. Like, Walmart affords me so many great things, both from a salary perspective, but a work-life balance perspective. I've been a police officer in my town. I've been an EMT in my town. I've gone to sporting events. If I could live at concerts, I would. I love live music. I don't even care if you sing well. I'll go and listen to live music all the time. I like to hunt. I like to do physical activities and stay fit with my family. My dad just graduated, he wishes. Just retired from 50 years at the same grocery store up home where I grew up. Got to go up there and spend some time and celebrate him for doing those things. So as you're anybody ever have manual updates on their computer that you got to restart? That's fun. This mountain in the background here is Mount Katahdin. Does anybody know what Mount Katahdin is? Geography buffs? No? So it's the northern apex of the Appalachian Trail. You literally have to drive by this view going in and out of my town. Like, it was so hard to leave up there. It was just absolutely beautiful. Right now, I'm enrolled at SNHU, and I'm doing my master's in business. All the while, again, still working for Walmart and doing my thing. One of the greatest things, though, is I started off as a pharmacist with the company, and I'm doing my MBA now because I don't have to stay a pharmacist. I can move into operations. I can move into just about any other area of the company that I want to, and still stay with the same organization and not have to lose any tenure or years of service or my precious vacation time that I like. So here are some things about our company that I really like. Core values. I'm going to talk a little bit about core values too, as it relates to your overall career and your career choice, because I understand that being a pharmacist isn't for everybody and working at Walmart isn't for everybody. Here are our core values: respect for the individual, strive for excellence, service to our customers, and act with integrity. If you're not aligned with those, you shouldn't work for our organization. Plain and simple. One of the ones that always stands out to me, though, is striving for excellence. So you guys are all high performers in your classes and in your school, and you're probably great athletes too and good at whatever you do. And it gets really hard when you're always striving for excellent, but you never become excellent. And that's one of the great things at Walmart, is that we openly acknowledge that we are never going to be perfect. We are never going to be where we want to be. We're always going to strive for more. And we do it in service of others and still keeping a really open and belonging environment for all of our associates and customers. So all of those things drive all of these things. We use technology. I mean, right now, the closest Walmart to you is probably in your pocket because y'all got your phones, right? Like, you can just shop anytime you want. I know, my wife does it. So we use technology all over the place. But we never lose sight of our humanity, and we always make sure that our people stay at the center of what we do. 75% of our salaried leaders started as hourly associates. Our CEO started out as working in our logistics department. Some of the things down here at the bottom are like so important to me now as a pharmacist and what I do as a market director. So does anybody know what health equity is? What's the difference between equity and equality?
Equality is giving everyone the same thing. Equity is making sure that they all get what they need to get to a certain place.
Man, you are on it. So if I give you all the same thing, but you needed a higher step up to get to where you needed to be, it didn't really help. I mean, it helped, but it didn't get you where you need to be, right? So equality isn't always what we're striving for. Health equity is what we're looking for. Increase access, increase affordability. If you try to call a doctor's office now and get an appointment because you have a concern or a question, you're talking months before you actually get in there, right? You can just walk up into one of my pharmacies and ask pharmacists anything you want anytime that we're open. No appointment needed. For pharmacy specifically, so a lot of my friends went into pharmacy because they wanted to be a healthcare provider, but they didn't want to touch people. They didn't like the rashes. They didn't like any of the gross stuff. So we filled prescriptions. We're really good at counting by fives. Put your pills in a bottle, you come in, we tell you about them, tell you what to expect from them. We had to deal with some really high cost burden for patients though, so third parties and insurances made things really tough for folks to afford the medicines that they needed. We talked about non-prescription therapies that they needed, so your cough and cold stuff or that athlete's foot that won't go away, you always come in and talk to us about those things and we have to make recommendations. What works well when your baby's crying in the middle of the night and they have a fever. Community pharmacy was preferred over chains. So that independent pharmacy that I dreamed of owning was preferred by most of our clientele over going to a Walgreens or a CVS or a Walmart. That was a corporate environment that folks didn't really want to see in their communities. And pharmacists ranked as the most trusted healthcare professional. So people trusted everything we said. We were like the doctor of the community who was always accessible to them. Now, we do all that stuff still, but we added things like recommending and administering immunizations right in the pharmacy. We do tests to treat, so we do COVID tests, we do flu tests, we do strep tests. So for those folks who went to pharmacy school years ago and they don't want to touch people, the world is a very uncomfortable place for them right now. We have improved affordability and equity, like our $4 list did a lot of things. Accessibility is there. A lot of things have changed though, like I said, with the third-party pressures on independent pharmacies. A lot of them are no longer open, so their patients now come to us because we're more reasonably priced. And we still remain as the most accessible healthcare professional. So I got this really cool video that I like. It's from the Cleveland Clinic, and it talks about the human connection and empathy of how we relate to people, specifically in the healthcare setting. This is fancy. There we go, yeah. So those are the folks who come into our stores. Those are the folks who work with us. They're our friends, they're our neighbors, they're our family members. Sometimes they're us. And in healthcare, that's kind of the world that you're entering, and have to be willing to openly accept. Are we good there? So in the life of service in healthcare, everything that we're going to do, you're going to ask to be connected to yourself, to a mission of some kind, to your community, to your patients, and to others just in general. So that empathy video to me just speaks volumes about what actual healthcare looks like. Now, I'm not silly enough to think that you all are going to, run out of the room, become pharmacy students, or go fill out your Walmart applications, right? Like, it may not be the right fit for you, and even if I thought it was, you aren't naive enough to believe me when I say it, right? Because that's just the way it goes. But I want to share some somewhat unpopular advice with you as you're thinking about what your career choices are. Everyone has always asked me what I want to be when I grow up. Figure out who you want to be first. Figure out what problems you want to solve. Don't worry about the what. You're going to find a vehicle that gets you through whatever that identity is that you want to establish. And then now you're here in high school, right? And we're asking you to figure out what you want to do or who you want to be for the rest of your life. I don't know what I want to have for supper tonight, right? And when I was in high school, I certainly didn't know what I wanted to be for the next 50 years of my life on this planet. So don't feel like you're just trapped in a box of whatever career path you choose or whatever organization you choose to go with. I really like Walmart because I can move throughout the entire country. I can pick different career paths and do completely different jobs in this organization and never have to leave. Many organizations offer those same opportunities as well, I know that. But I got a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. I had to go to school for 5 years for it. It's a 6-year degree now. And I loved my patients, and I missed them dearly in the time that I got to spend with them when I was on the bench. I wouldn't want to go back and be a pharmacist on the bench anymore. I love what I do now in terms of impacting healthcare on a completely different scale and scope. And then once you figure out who you want to be and the problem you want to solve, as you're looking at different organizations, like I pointed out, our core values, understand the organizations that you want to apply to and that you want to work with. I can't tell you how many times I sit down with applicants who want to be a pharmacist for us and they don't know basic Walmart knowledge. They don't know when we were founded. They don't know who our owner was. They don't know why we were in healthcare to begin with. They don't know how many pharmacies we have nationwide. Like, if you want to work for an organization, do some homework on it, figure out, does it really match? Because the salary that we're going to offer you, or that any organization is going to offer you, is not going to be able to buy your happiness and your fulfillment as a professional, I promise. I geek out over memes and these little motivational, inspirational quotes. Like, I love them. And all of these up here are cliche in some way. But the reason why they're cliche is because they're true. What you're going to do as a healthcare provider is not going to be easy, nor should it be, but it's definitely going to be worth it. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from William Shakespeare. And my computer keeps wanting to restart. The meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. So, to put those in Walmart terms, find your spark and share it with the world. That's what we do in our company.